Let's talk jigsaws. Hey everybody, I'm Mayanna with Heartwood Art. Today we're going to go over the features and settings of jigsaws in case you're looking to buy one or you want to learn how to use yours better. Okay, let's dive in. As you can see, I have 3 different saws here, and that's really important because all of them have different features and settings, and you'll get a little wide variety of what you can buy or get or what you may need for your thing. So here I've got a really old Craftsman saw. I think this, I'm not sure, it might have belonged to my dad. It's really old. It's got some things that maybe these others don't have on it. Most modern jigsaws don't. So we're going to have a look at it. And then I've got this Black & Decker. This is a super basic, cheap scroll saw, but it'll get the job done. And this is my Ryobi cordless. It's the one that I use the most. So we're going to start with it because it has the most settings on it. Let's talk speed, because variable speed control is the single most important feature on any jigsaw. So with this old one, let's start with it. Most of them have a variable speed in the trigger. So I'm going to turn this on so you can see the more I depress the trigger, the faster it goes. Okay, and what this one has, that some others have too, is a max speed. So when the trigger is fully depressed, it only goes just so fast. This one happens to have a wheel right under the trigger. I'm going to turn it all that away and push the trigger. You can see that's very fast. And then turn it back far the other way, and is barely even moving, right? So it just depends on how fast you need to go. So the problem with that is you kind of have to stop, turn that. It's not an exact setting, but it is variable speed control. Now, with this Black & Decker, it's all in the trigger. There is no max speed setting. So I'm going to pull the trigger so you can see just a little bit. Okay, so it's all in the trigger. And this one actually has a little longer trigger and a little further throw that I kind of like. It's very easy to get used to the speed control on it. Now, Ryobi does it a little differently. What they have is not variable speed in the trigger. They have a little thumb dial up here at the top. And some of them, some models, do have a max speed control on it. But what this is, it's kind of a thumb dial, and it goes, that's all the way up, and this is all the way down. Let me show you what that sounds like. This turned all the way down. Okay, but you kind of have to hold it like this, and that's probably not a problem when it's sitting down. I'm going to lift it up so it won't make so much noise. But listen as I go up. Okay, so I like this, but it makes you hold it kind of funny. You don't have full control all the way around it. Whereas something like this, you keep full control over it. So that's kind of why I like this little basic thing. I don't like that one at all for speed control. I mean, it's okay, but I don't like it that much. This one has other features I like, though. Now, all of them come with a lock. So if you have something that you need to cut that's super straight, and you're going to be just going pretty much at one speed, full blow, then you have a lock here. You pull the trigger and hit the lock, and you let go of the trigger, and it will stay on. And to unlock it, you just push the trigger again, and it pops it out. So let's see that. See? And that's how that works. And all 3 of them have that. Okay, now let's talk about orbital settings. This is one of the least understood features, and not all saws have it. As a matter of fact, this is the only one that does. And on this Ryobi, it's this setting right here. It goes 0, 1, 2, 3. And there's a little chart here so you can match your orbital setting with your speed setting with the kind of wood that you're cutting through, and that's super duper important. So what is orbital? Orbital makes it sound like it's a circle. Not quite. Okay, think about how, I've got a little prop here. Think about how you hand saw something. You probably come in at an angle, right? You cut through some of it and you pull wood back out, or the sawdust back out, and you cut through it and pull it out, and you're going at an angle. Rarely do you cut just straight across, right? It's almost always at an angle. Okay, think of this as your jigsaw blade. All right, I had to get something big so you could see it. So if you go straight on with it and cut through like this, it's going to cut just the wood that's presented to it on that plane, right? It's probably going to be a very smooth cut because you might want to go slower for this and have a fine tooth blade in there and get a really great smooth cut. But let's say you're cutting something that's real long, like, I don't know, ripping a 2x4, this way, right? Long ways. And you need to hog out a bunch of material at once. Well, you kind of want it tilted. So the way this works, it tilts the front end of the blade. It's kind of hard to see. Even with the blade in there, it's hard to see. It's not a whole lot, but it tilts it forward, so it's hitting your wood at an angle, almost like you do when you hand saw something, and it's going to take out wood really fast. And you might even have the speed up on that. It's going to give a much rougher cut with all kinds of little splinters and things on it. It's not something I usually use because when I'm doing a scroll saw, I'm usually doing fine curves and different things. I don't really use it much to hog out a ton of material at a time. And so that's a setting I usually leave at 0 for that. So, but if you need it, you got it. Okay, let's talk about knobs. I bet you're wondering what this is because not many jigsaws have something like this, right? So, and there's a reason for that. So, with this little setting, even though this has a setting up here, it's not the same setting as that one is, and that one doesn't even have one. This one locks this knob, and when you turn it, so it'll go straight. When you turn it, you can turn this knob, which is turning where your blade is. So you could actually hold the jigsaw still and go around a corner by turning the knob. Kid you not. Okay, honey, it takes a lot of practice to get good with doing this and this at the same time. And when you do need a straight line, you kind of have to stop and lock it again because if you get a little bit off, it's not going to be straight anymore. That's probably the reason you don't see these knobs anymore. Okay, let's talk base plate. Some people call this foot. It's very much just like a circular saw, and it keeps the thing level on your cutting surface, right? And it has this rise in it, very much like your circular saw does. So you can do things like have a speed square and then run this up it for a straight cut, which is very handy. Now, the other thing that this one has that these two don't is bevel cutting. So you can cut at an angle, and the whole thing tilts for this. These two don't have it. So let me put this over here. They have fixed bases, right? Now, I'll show you a close-up of this, but on the back of this one, let me take the battery out, so we don't need that. In the back here, it's got little settings, and this can tilt either way, and there are little markings there for 0, 15, 30, and 45 either way. Now, and you might want to get an angle checker just to be sure, but they come out different ways. On this particular one, there are 2 screws. Some of them have 1 screw. Usually, if they have a screw, there's usually a tool somewhere hidden in the device. So this one is right here. It's a little Allen wrench, and you just pull that out. I don't know if I can get this one out. It's in there pretty tight, but you pull that out, and then whoops, where am I? There I am. You just have to loosen these 2 screws. You don't have to take them all the way out, and you can tilt it. Some of them have levers that loosen it up and then click back in. Some of them have knobs, kind of like you do for a circular saw for its bevel or for raising the height. But these 2 are fixed bases, and they can't do it. Okay, let's talk cutting guide. Now, this is usually optional with most jigsaws. Some have it in the case with it, some you have to order it. And listen, you can't just necessarily get a generic one of these because it won't necessarily fit all jigsaws. So what happens is, on your base, there's going to be some kind of slot Not on all of them, but on most, there will be some kind of slot. And it could be anywhere from before the blade to right behind it to the middle. And that's what we've got here. This one's in the center. And the way this works is you put it through the base and set that here, just like you do with a circular saw or something, and then put the edge of the guide here so it can run up and down it, right? And so you can, if you're, especially if you're making a long cut on something like plywood, this works. Now, this one, when it goes all the way through, and you can put it through on this one, you can put it through on either side. And then it's got little holes here for the screws, okay? And it's got screws on both sides for that. Not all of them do. This one, it's in front of the blade, which is, I think, kind of, and it won't even fit in there, but this one is in front of the blade, and it has a place for a screw there. And this one is just behind the blade, and it doesn't have a screw, it has a little lip on it. So they all could be very different. You may or may not get one or not. But if you just use some kind of a straight edge against your foot, that works just as well. Okay, let's talk grip. And no, this is not a jigsaw. I know it's not a jigsaw. Okay, there are two kinds of grips on these things. A D grip, because it looks like the letter D, right? And then what's called a barrel grip, because you grab it by the barrel. This is my favorite little oscillating tool, and it kind of looks like one. So it's going to look, the profile back here is going to look pretty much like this. And then it has a tall part down here with the blade going up and down. Some people like these because they say it's lower to the surface, and it gives them more control, especially if they're doing a lot of corners and things compared to looking around on this one, okay? And some of them have a little blower to blow the sawdust off so you can see your line. These don't have that. You'll be going, trying to get the sawdust out. You know I'm right if you've used one. You know that's true. Some people say this is less fatiguing on their hands. I have picked these up at the store, and of course not this one, and it's a little bit different. I cannot get my whole hand around it. And my hands aren't especially small, but I don't feel like I can grip it very well. I feel a lot better having my thumb and my fingers wrapped around this handle. But they can each get in different places. This one can go lower, this one can go more shallow. So they do have their place. Okay, let's talk blades. I know these are too little to see. I'll put up something on one of the sides here for you to see them. There are two basic types. One is a T-shank, and it has a little bar going across it. Looks like a T. The other one is a U-shank. At the top, it has a little cutout, and it probably has a hole in it as well. These are the older type. But modern jigsaws, some of them will take either one of them. So check and make sure that when you're buying blades, you get the right one that's for your machine. Okay, let's talk teeth. And what this is going to be listed as is TPI. It'll probably be written on the blade. It's certainly written on the package for them. So it's teeth per inch, and the more of them you have, the finer the cut. But you may also get a thinner blade. So you kind of have to decide what kind of wood are you going through, what kind of speed are you going to be going through it, and are you going to make a bunch of curves? And how fine a cut do you need? Can you stand a lot of tear out? Or do you need a really super fine cut? Okay, I get some that are called fine finish wood. Let me see if I've got them here. Yes, I do. These are called fine finish wood. It's written here at the bottom. And there are 10 TPI. I like these very much. They do just about everything. This is a good general purpose that gives a fairly good cut because I'm not hogging out tons of material at a time. I'm doing more decorative cuts. Okay, the other thing to notice about these blades, notice the teeth go up. When it's mounted into the thing, the teeth are pointed up. That's because Jigsaw's cut on the upstroke. There is a thing called a reverse blade, and it's got the teeth going down and cut on the downstroke. I don't recommend it. They get jumpy and hung up quite a bit. I tried one once and I didn't like it at all. I like these much better. Okay, let's talk about changing blades. Make sure your power source is removed. Okay, jigsaws are very safe, but not if you're stupid with them, right? Okay, so make sure this thing is good and steady. Lay it on its side. Set it up if you can. Do whatever you have to. Make it steady. Don't have it jumping around on you. Now, there are two ways to do this. This one is you need a tool to do it. This is the older type. Most of them are toolless these days, but with the tool type, it takes that U-shank with that hole in it. Here's what that hole is for. There's an Allen nut or Allen bolt in here that you have to have an Allen wrench. And you take that out a little bit, you put it up in there, you put that screw right through that hole and tighten it down good. It ain't going nowhere. It's staying in there. But on this model, there is, that I can see, there's no place to store that tool. It's in the case, which is what you lose it, you can't find it, things like that. That's kind of one of the reasons they went to toolless. All right, on the toolless, there's going to be some kind of lever or something that you pull. On this one, it's this little thing right here. And you pull, and it's a little, and if it's brand new, it's really going to be hard. Put this in, follow your little guide here. Put this in, teeth facing out, right? And put it all the way in and let go of the lever. And then give it a tug, just a little tug. You don't want to find that out by turning the tool on. And I see people do it all the time because you think it's in there. The reason why is this shank can move. And you think you've got it all the way in there and then it moves back just a little bit. You really don't. Okay? You see what I'm doing here? Now, I can tell you, even if you get it all the way in there and you give it a really hard tug, it's going to come out. Now, with this one, it's got a bolt through it. It ain't going anywhere. It'll break or whatever before it comes out of there. Ask me how I know. But with this one, if you yank hard, it will come out. Okay? So I'm just saying tug, make sure it's in there. Pretty good. But if you yank hard, even if you do have it in there, it could still come out. Maybe your machine locks it in a different way than this one does, and yours doesn't do that. I don't know. But that's the way mine is. And that's the way I check for safety. Okay, that's what I've got for the settings and tips with that. And the next video, we're going to do some cutting and show you tips with that too. So be sure to subscribe to this channel and give me a like for this video if you like these tips. And come over and see me at heartwoodart.com. Get on the newsletter so you know when things come up. And I'll see you in the shop.